Hello, Earthlings, and welcome to episode 2 of Beat Freaks. In case you need a refresher or just didn't watch our first episode, my name is Steven, and this is my comrade Niles.
Today, we're going to bring to you our first formal album review with Big Sean's I Decided. It, made a big impression on both of us, so it's going to be a great time to talk about. Let's go.
So this is Big Sean's fourth studio album, and in my opinion, this is his best album so far.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would say that 100%. Like, Steve can tell you, like, I was not really a fan of Big Sean before. And, I mean, the same reasons that most people don't like him. Was just, to me, seemed like an artist who was extraordinarily cheesy and, average at best. And he just didn't do anything to disprove that idea until now.
And now going into this album, when we were listening to some of the singles that came out, and we actually were talking about we're going to find the corniest lines from this album, and that's what we're going to talk about and make it the focus so we can laugh at the work, right? Well, that's not what's happening.
No, I mean, his corniness was toned down so much. Maybe it was just that, we've been overexposed to corny lines from him. Because they're definitely not gone. They're still there.
No.
Sure. Even on, the first track, he had that one about Kanye found a pro. I guess I'm pro-found.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
one of the singles, jumping off or halfway off the balcony, had it was one where, I keep it 100, I never change, now you're for 520. That's the first one I heard, oh, it's going to be great. And then, it wasn't really like that, throughout the album. Usually you can go through, from Dark Sky Paradise, you can go to, all the tracks, and you'll find, at least one line in every album that, or every song that you can say it's hilarious.
Steve, I'm sorry if I'm just not giving the best dialogue right now. I know I have trouble communicating. Guess I should have gone to college for that degree in communication.
Yeah, he did have that in there.
Listening to the singles, I had a lot of mixed feelings. One of the biggest red flags for me for an album is when an artist puts out too many lead singles, and that's what I thought was happening. But as it turned out, Big Sean actually had a few songs that were not on the album, and I thought that played a crucial part in the album's length specifically, and how little songs it had to play a crucial part in how it worked as an album, how it flowed, and my general enjoyment of it from top to bottom.
Yeah, those two singles that weren't on the album, 2 of the 5, I believe it was 5. I think it was Moves, Halfway Off the Balcony, and was there one more? Is that it? There was 10 of the 2 that weren't on the album. Those Living Single and No More Interviews. Which No More Interviews made sense because he had the part where the skit where he was getting asked all the questions.
Yeah.
And he didn't answer anything, obviously. So
yeah.
Well, that was neat. I was it tied in anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean it was really cool. All the singles were dope. I really liked Living Single, but it made sense that it wasn't on the album.
Yeah, it didn't really fit the album the way it was set up.
Yeah.
But it was also a great song. I like that song a lot.
So let's talk about how the album's set up. You were telling me before that you really liked the concept of it and how it worked. So I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah, sure. So I liked how at the intro you have, which ended up being Big Sean's older self in his head, how he thought of himself, I guess. And how it started off, he just talking about how he wasted his life, and you go through the album and that voice reappears several times, and it's giving Big Sean advice, on different topics, whether it's as a girl or with his mom or stuff like that. And at the end, they combine the voices at the very end, so it's that's how you put the connection, is this him? Yeah. And I just thought the way that flowed like that with that reoccurring theme was really good throughout the entire album.
Yeah, I thought so too. And I've heard a lot of complaints from people saying that Big Sean was trying to be deep on this, when he was trying to have a concept, but it was kind of shallow and didn't really convey his intentions as much as he could have. And I didn't really get that. I find that a lot of albums, when they're strung together, they have a lot of skits. If they're too long or if they're just a little too all over the place, it kind of takes away from it. I think that the things that he used to bridge everything together made perfect sense. They were perfect length. They addressed the things that were coming up in the album and made it all tie together really well. So I was really happy with the concept.
Yeah, see, I have no problem with the intro skit and the exit skit being like long and anything. It's like when you get into the album, you're listening, you just want to hear music. That's when they get long, but they didn't at all in this one. The longest one is maybe like 45 seconds tops.
Perfect example is with Logic's Under Pressure. Like
there's some lengthy
skits, the voice in between. I don't have a huge problem with it, but I know that my girlfriend, she thinks that they're a little too long. If it interrupts the music too much, then it just takes away from what you're experiencing, and that isn't really what happened with I Decided.
All right, now let's get into some of the music here. Tell me your favorite song on this album.
It's a little tough. It's between a few songs. Probably first and foremost, Jump Off the Balcony. Jump Out the Window. And then You Hang Halfway Off the Balcony.
Yes.
But yeah, that song, the piano, the melody, the story of the song, it was just a very pleasing song. It was just something that is just, you can put on, you can sing, and it's a nice single, I feel. Another one that I really loved was Inspire Me. That one for his mom, it touched me.
Yeah, it was a good song.
It had me welling up a little bit, not physically, but emotionally. And I think just the beat on it was, I don't know, it was very happy, obviously, but just the vibe of it, the lightheartedness it was a nice signal for the last arm of the album. What was your favorite song?
Like you, I have a few. I can't really decide on one. I think Halfway Off the Balcony is my favorite one. Mm-hmm. I just really dig the sound of that song and how it could all flow.
I like it. I think just because I heard it so many times as a single,
I heard that one a lot first too.
It's a little bit lower on the list.
Yeah. And then I also liked Omi a little bit. That's a good song.
I liked Omi. So, well, what else? What other songs? I have a couple more things I wanted to bring up.
Jump Out the Window, Sunday Morning Jet Back to You talked about. I like those two. So there's 4 songs right there that I think.
Yeah. The whole kind of middle section was pretty good.
And a lot of albums you see they fall off in the middle. Not this one at all.
Yeah,
it's really strong.
All right. Since you brought up Omi, I have to ask because I've been hearing this a lot. What are your thoughts on the whole Drake, Big Sean sounding like a worse Drake?
Well, I was actually going to mention this when you mentioned Inspire Me, because I hear the Drake, sounds like a Drake song in the first 30 seconds of that song.
Yeah.
Just the intro and the way it sounds, just the way you inspire me. It just sounds like a Drake song. And it just, to me, I don't think he's a knockoff Drake by any means. I just think they have similar flows.
Yeah. And
that's where you get the comparisons from. But I mean, it's not like it's there on every track of this album. It's maybe 2 or 3. It sounds like, I feel like Drake could substitute in here.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I don't think it's a huge overbearing part of the album. I actually don't think it's. I think maybe their flows are kind of similar. I think it's more just when he sings, when a lot of the melodies that he laid down for hooks felt very Drake-ish. Omi specifically, I was just top and bottom. I was just this is a Drake song. But I don't necessarily see anything wrong with showing influence and doing what is, I suppose, a somewhat popular style. I don't think sonically. I haven't listened to enough Drake to say if this project is big sonically like him as far as the beats go.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is or not, but I don't know. Drake's those kinds of melodies are enjoyable. So
I found it. Apparently, what I read was that there is a Drake diss in No Favors. So here, if you want it, right here, Damn Shine. If you want to read it from there, you can read that out loud, I guess. And that's what I read as a Drake diss. And the Midas Touch comes from one of Drake's songs. He mentioned that in one of his, I believe it was one of his diss tracks to Meek Mill. It might have been back to back. I'm not sure.
Damn, Sean, what happened to the humble attitude? I'm just took the flow, but I'm still standing too. Thought I had the Midas Touch, then I went platinum too.
Yeah, that one right there. So that was apparently a Drake diss because Drake mentioned having the Midas touch on one of his songs.
Oh, okay.
So, and I guess they're calling Drake for taking his flow. So, I don't know. So that's where I also thought of that too, which I read that online, of course. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I hear the same thing about Logic, that he sounds like Drake or he sounds like Kendrick.
Yeah.
And like, I don't understand why that is such an argument. Like, obviously, I'm a music lover. I love all music, and I think all people are looking for music that they've never heard before. But everybody can be that. If you can perfect a style and make something that, well, even being reminiscent of something else, still sounds fresh. To me, this album sounded fresh. That's what's important.
It did. I agree. Because there's going to be, there's only so many styles you have out there where, people are going to sound similar at points, but, everyone has their own distinctive sound in a way. Mm-hmm. I think Big Sean did a great job here kind of defining that sound in this album. Where, before, he had a sound, but, it was just corny and whatnot. In this album, I think he really, put himself out there as having his own sound and not just...
Yeah, having his own story, because that was one of the things about Big Sean in his earlier songs that I mean, I listened to Finally Famous, but I didn't really, I don't have too much memory of it, but from everything that I've experienced with Sean, it's always been he's just stunning. Mm-hmm. He's not saying anything, he's just being a corny ass rapper. But with this album is truly inspiring, and it's like he took time off. It's been a good couple of years since he took time off. He found himself and he made an album that is important, I feel, not only for his career and for the genre of hip-hop, but just people. It will touch people, and I feel like that is and has, and that is what's most important with music.
Yeah, I agree. He did a great job doing exactly what you just said there. So like you mentioned, there's a lot of important tracks there, Bigger Than Me and Inspire Me, those tracks at the end there. There's also tracks at the beginning that are a different way, or I wouldn't say they're inspiring, but they're kind of that classic Sean sound, Moves, for example, is one of them.
Yeah.
And even No Favors, it's just he just kind of goes hard on that track.
Yeah, but even No Favors, the verse itself, when you listen to it, is very inspiring. A lot, it feels like if you talk about Big Sean, it's a lot of it is just stunning. This is what I have. This is who I am. I'm a celebrity. I'm a rap star.
He does
whatever.
That too, though.
But yes, no, absolutely. But with this album, it felt so much more. This is what I have, and this is because why?
Yeah, that's
this attitude, this hunger, this view of life is what got me to this point, and that is what struck me and is what is going to resonate with people.
I know I keep bringing up Inspire Me, but he did that in that track too, where he talks about everything he's gotten his mom and stuff. And he talks about why, it is from mom, always been there for me, all that stuff. But he also talks about, I should take you on vacation to Asia, Africa, Dubai. Dubai is in Asia, okay? I just want to talk to that first. Dubai is in Asia. I don't know why I said Dubai. Of course, it was to set up the line to everything you want, I do buy,
Yeah.
But
corny.
Yeah, exactly. So there's another one. So, he talks about a lot of stuff he has, of course. But I think all rappers do that though. It's just the way rap is. If you have 12 cars, you gotta tell them.
Yeah, Big Sean. I decided. Great album.
Yeah.
Great listening experience. When are you anticipating next? What does this mean for you?
Well, I think this was a big step in his career, and the way just maybe his overall maturity level. This album is just kind of he definitely stepped it up, his game, a lot, and I think he can keep going with his game.
Yeah.
He can.
I agree.
I don't know if he can cut out corny lines altogether, because that's kind of what he's known for. I don't think he ever can. It's just who he is.
It's just him.
But I think he can continue this pathway to maybe making something that's even more meaningful in the future. I don't know. We'll have to wait a couple years now. Maybe 2019. We'll see what happens. But,
yeah.
But I think he's definitely putting himself up there on the level of the rappers in the game.
Yeah,
the ladder a lot.
Dude has established himself. Improving his longevity, and I don't see it going down at this point. Just looking at the interviews that he's made and just his whole perspective on the game right now, I think that we're going to see some of the best music he's ever done, and I hope that he continues to impress me, because I think that he has perked the ear of the world more than he ever has before.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what he does next.
And you'll see what we think about what he does next.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, until next time,
I'm Steven.
I'm Niles, and this is Beat Freaks.